Welcome to Perfect Vocals Academy, a channel that puts out cutting-edge audio engineering content. If you would like to learn more about audio engineering, head over to the description and sign up for the Vocal Mixing Masterclass. Also, click the subscribe button. Let's jump into this next video. Hey guys, welcome to Perfect Vocals Academy. This song is going to be mixing a track from start to finish. I've never done this before on my channel. I've had a few requests to do this, and I think it could be very beneficial for you guys to just see what kind of workflow I'm doing when I'm mixing. So you can compare this to your own workflows. You know, maybe you won't like something I do, maybe you will like something I do, but you can implement. It's an advice buffet. Anything you can take from this to help you mix is going to be great for your journey in mixing. So I'm mixing this song from scratch. This is just a rap song with a stereo beat. I'm not going to be mixing instrument stems today, but maybe in the future, maybe I'll do a part 2. So, but for now, this is just going to be a stereo beat with some vocals. So I am doing this without headphones, so I'm going to have to, mute my mic as I do things because I like to mix with my speakers. I don't hate headphones, but I haven't really taken the time in years to get good at mixing with headphones. The only thing usually I do with headphones is editing, tuning, stuff like that, maybe, but I'm a speakers guy, so we're going to be mixing with speakers. I'm using some Adam A7s. You can look those up. I could probably drop a link in the description for those. And yeah, let's get into this. So first, before I open this up, I set the beat. So in Pro Tools, you can tap the tempo. So you can hit the letter T. You hit this plus sign right here, and you can just, as the beat's playing, tap it out, see what it comes out to. So this came out to 74.5 BPM. And then I highlighted this whole thing and then made sure I nudged it to be right with the grid. So as you can see, it is right on the grid. So that's bar beat number 1. So that's where the kick drum's hitting. So could probably get it a little closer even. Let me see. Yeah, it's a little off. So if you go to nudge, I like to use samples. So I go to 100 samples. I'm nudging everything. You could even go lower, 10 samples. Really get that right on the grid. So as you can see, if I go to like 8th notes, all the hits. Now these are like 16th note offbeats or something. So see, they're still hitting right on the grid. We're on the grid. So why is this important? Well, vocal delays, number 1. Need our vocal delays to be on time. I don't like to just set a vocal delay and do it by the milliseconds. I like to do it to the host, to the BPM, so it's exact. So vocal delays. Also, we're going to be moving around some of the vocal timing, so we can see if something's a little bit off with timing. We can nudge it around. Copy pasting is another one. So once I edit this hook, say I do the pitch correction and the time correction, now I want to copy paste to the other ones. I don't want to be guessing. I want to be able to just place the cursor, paste. So we want this to be to the grid. And the reason why I stress this is because I've gotten sessions from a lot of people before and things weren't to the grid. And sometimes people will even set this tempo to the right tempo, but they never shifted all the audio to the grid, so it's pretty pointless. Delays might still work if you just type in the tempo, but as far as editing, copy pasting, nudging things around, it's going to be a lot more work for you. So I like to start off muting some of the vocals and working on just a certain section. So for right now, I'm going to work on this hook. So I'm going to mute my voice really quick and take a listen.
Still in my lane, that'll never change, boy. Still got the game, never been a lame, boy. Negroes know my name, yeah. Been up in the game, boy. Ain't nothing really changed but the change. Shout out, take off. All y'all really do is sit around and talk. No driving, you ain't even gotta bark. That's why I'm a thoroughbred, been up in my heart. That's why I can afford a ghost with the push button start. Yeah. Still in my lane, that'll never change, boy. Still got the game, never been a lame, boy. Negroes know my name, yeah. Been up in the game, boy. Ain't nothing really changed but the change. Shout out, take off. All y'all really do is sit around and talk. No driving, you ain't even gotta bark. That's why I'm a thoroughbred, been up in my heart. That's why I can afford a ghost with the push button start. Yeah. My lane, that'll never change. Still in my lane, that'll never change, boy. Still got the game, never been a lame, boy. Negroes know my name, yeah. Been up in the game, boy. Ain't nothing really changed but the change. Shout out, take off. All y'all really do is sit around and talk. No driving, you ain't even gotta bark. That's why I'm a thoroughbred, been up in my heart. That's why I can afford a ghost with the push button start. Yeah.
Okay, so what I did first, you may have noticed, is just kind of leveled it so it's a little bit more listenable. I leveled the vocals, turned them down about 3 dB, and then there were certain spikes in the audio where the vocal got extra loud, so I just clip gained those certain spots. So I'm just trying to start with somewhat of a decent level with the vocals, even though I'm not focused on mixing right now. It's just something I like to do before I start getting out plugins or anything like that. We're just getting a nice solid level. I'm not touching the timing yet. What I'm going to do is pitch correct first, and then after we pitch correct, we're going to nudge things around. The reason why I like to do it this way is because sometimes when we do timing edits and send it to the artist, sometimes the artist can be a little thrown off if maybe they were supposed to rush a certain line or they were supposed to be behind on a certain line, and I kind of like corrected it too much for them and they didn't like it. It's easier to go back and nudge it around when we're nudging the pitched vocals. If we edit the timing first and then pitch correct, now we got to go back before the pitch correction, put the timing back, and then re-pitch correct. So that's doing extra work, so we don't want to do that. So we're going to not do extra work. We're going to make sure we pitch correct first and then move on to the nudging to the grid. So I'm going to mute myself here, and I'm going to scan in all 3 of these vocals. I don't believe the ad-lib needs tuned, so I think it's just these 3. But we'll see. But we're going to start with these 3. I'm going to actually mute the ad-lib, and we'll get into tuning. As you can see, I got all 3 of these plugins on here, and then I click transfer on each one.
Still in my lane, that'll never change, boy. Still got the game, never been a lame, boy. Negroes know my name, been up in the game, boy. Ain't nothing really changed but the change. Shout out, take off. All y'all really do is sit around and talk. No driving, you
Okay, the key is E minor. So now we're going to get into the tuning. So
still in still 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 in still still in my still in my lane, 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 better still in my lane, still in my lane, better never change, better never change, better never change, boy, better never change, boy, still got the boy, still boy, still boy, still boy, still boy, still.
as you can see, I'm just certain things that are sounding off to me. I'm just dissecting it and moving it where it needs to go.
Boy, still got the boy, still got the game. Boy, still got the game. Boy, still got the boy, still got the game. Boy, still got the boy, still got the game.
If you want to know more about these tools and what they do, I have a couple YouTube shorts, Melodyne Part 1 and Part 2, that kind of goes over these tools.
Boy, still got the game. Never been a boy, still got the game. Never been a lame. Never been a lame boy. Boy, never been a lame boy. Negro, never been a lame boy. Negroes know my name. Negroes, 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 Negroes know, Negroes know, Negroes know my name. 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 Negroes know Negroes know my name. 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 Been up in the game. Been up in the game. Been up in the game, boy. Been up in the game, boy. Ain't nothing really changed. Ain't nothing really changed, but the change. Shout out, take. Ain't nothing really changed, but the change. Shout out, take. Ain't nothing really changed, but the change. Ain't nothing really changed. Ain't nothing really changed, but the change. Shout out, take off. All y'all really do is sit around and talk. All y'all really do is sit around and talk. No drive. You ain't even. No driving you ain't even gotta bark. No driving you ain't even gotta bark. No driving you ain't even gotta bark. That's why I'm a thoroughbred. 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 Been up in my heart. That's why I'm a thoroughbred. Been up in my heart. That's why I'm a thoroughbred. Been up in my heart. That's why I'm a thoroughbred. Been up in my heart. So I can afford a ghost with. So I can afford a ghost with the push. So I can afford a ghost with the push. Ghost with the push button start. Ghost with the push button start. Ghost with the push button start. Ghost Ghost with the push button start. Ghost with the push button start.
Okay, those are all tuned. Now, since this is a rap vocal, you know, I'm not tuning too heavily. I could throw some auto-tune on there, and sometimes I do with this artist. This is Shay Stone, by the way, if you want to look him up. But for this one, I'm going to keep it more of a rap and not go too tuned with it. So we'll keep it like that. Now I'm going to commit these. Now, you want to commit these because we want to copy-paste them. And you can't just copy-paste the vocals and the Melodyne just carries with it. So you have to print and then you can copy-paste. So I have all three of these selected. Then I'm going to hit Command with all those selected, commit, and then instead of do nothing, I'm going to do make inactive. Okay, there it is. This is the new committed tracks. So I'm going to color code them so I know they're the edited ones. Okay, and now I'm going to go to the grid mode. This is important, like I talked about at the beginning. I'm going to go to the grid mode when I select to copy this. So I'm going to go to this downbeat of the beat here. Highlight all three tracks. And then go to the second hook. Make sure you got the cursor on all three tracks blinking like that. Paste, and then we just take our trimmer tool and trim out the part that I didn't copy. I feel it's easier doing it that way right on the beat than it is doing some awkward beat where the vocal comes in. You just do it right on the beat, and then you can usually just trim out what you didn't copy. Okay, let's do the third hook. Okay. I'm going to listen to this ad-lib and make sure that there's no tuning that needs done here. It sounded just like some rap ad-libs, but I'm going to check. I'm going to double check.
My lane, my lane,
Okay, yeah, they're just some rapping ad-libs. One thing we forgot to do before pasting, I kind of jumped the gun, is we need to time all this out. So what I'm going to do is be using the nudge feature. So just like I showed you to nudge everything to be on the grid, we're going to do the same type of thing. So normally I do somewhere between 100 and 1,000 samples. We'll go at like 400. I did that on the numeric keypad. I have my grid set to 16th notes so I can see all the beats. And it's cool with Pro Tools because they show you the grid right through the audio. So I'm going to mute myself.
still in my lane, still in my lane. That'll never change, boy. Still got the game. Boy, still got the game. Never been a lame, boy. Negroes know my name. Yeah, been up in the game, boy. Been up in the game, boy. Ain't nothing really ain't nothing really changed. Ain't nothing really changed. Ain't nothing really changed. But the change, shout out. Ain't nothing really changed. But the change, shout out. Take off. All y'all really do is sit around and talk. All y'all really do is. All y'all really do is sit around and talk. You know driving, you ain't. You know driving. You ain't even got a. That's why I'm a thoroughbred, been up in my. That's why I'm a thoroughbred. That's why I'm a thoroughbred, been up in my heart. 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 So I can afford to. So I can afford to go. So I can afford to. So I can afford. So I can afford. Ghost with the push button start. Yeah. Button start. Yeah. In my lane. Yeah. My lane. Yeah. The that'll never change, boy. Still got the game. Never been a lame game. Never been a lame boy. Name, yeah, been changed, but the change. Shout out to really changed, but the change. No drive, you know drive. Talk, you know drive. Got a bark. That's why I'm a. That's why I can afford to go.
Okay, I nudged everything to be on beat, and you're probably asking, well, how do you know, like, which way to nudge? Well, I mean, after you do this for a while, you start to hear if something sounds too fast or too slow. So you can hear that by, or see that even too. If something's a little fast, you can see it's ahead of these lines, so you'll know to nudge it to the right, not to the left. If something's behind, you're going to nudge it to the left, back in time. So, and I'm not dissecting stuff like crazy. I'm letting him be off just a little bit. That keeps his flow. But I'm definitely making sure that all those really strong points are hitting right with the grid. So now we can copy paste. I'm going to color code that red, because that's edited, that's done. We can copy paste again. Now I'm doing 4 tracks. Then I'm going to trim it back. Cool, so we have the chorus edited. Now I'm going to go through the verse and adjust some levels like clip gain, you know, like this line looks a little too loud and stuff. I'm going to adjust the clip gain a little bit throughout the whole, both verses. And I'll also decide if we're going to tune the verses or if there's just strictly rap.
I'm so used to dead, my checks and balances be a super threat. Only one over my books, is too many crooks up. Be a super threat. Only one over my books, is too many. Be a super threat. Only one over my books, is too many crooks up in my family net. Only one knows the business is the. Only one knows the business is the ones that got their business set. Only ones that got their business set. Only ones in my business be them haters. Only ones in my business be them haters, know they upset. Lying out of his draw, too much of that alcohol, walk it off. I cannot see in the future, but I pray you don't get knocked off. Why she be wearing them clothes? She got them ugly toes, girl, bye. I'm not looking for woes, I'm looking for paper to fold. Nah, Still be holding it down for some of these clowns I used to mess with. I thought these niggas was friends, but then they turned out to be suspects. Run and go get the money, then run it back. MDE the safe home. Disrespect, you gon' get smacked. Being around me, not safe home. No, I'm not up in the streets, cause I know the streets is not the place for me. But I be up in your niece, cause she's so sweet, and that's the place to be. I don't know what you mean when you say we don't need police to me. Gotta protect our elders from this evil that we seem to see. Still in my lane. I cannot see in the future, but I'm pretty sure how it's gonna turn out. These niggas be thinking it's cool, be acting a fool, I'm on that paper route. MPE in the kitchen, wrist twisting, got him showing out. Gotta make better decisions, don't be living like you all out. I've been up in the zone, it really hit home when it's a family member. Jesus sit on the throne, he the one at home, I'm just a visitor. Everything up in my head, it really hit home, cause I be thinking deep. Really ain't had the time to properly think I'm deep. Everything up in my head, it really hit home, cause I be thinking deep. Really ain't had the time to properly thank MDE family. Wishing you all to be safe, cause if you died, then that's a tragedy. You nigga be doing these clothes, I'm trying to get dressed in your attire, see. Put your brain on me, and that's a win, I'm sure we both agree. I've been up in the game since the game was introduced to me. I've been saving my chain since I found out it was up to me. I've been up in my lane once I figured out how to trick the streets. People been on cocaine since cocaine in 1863. Niggas, they know my name, it's Shay Stone when you addressing me. Still in my lane, better never change.
Okay, so I just adjusted the levels like I did before, and now I'm going to get into nudging and fixing the timing. I'm not going to pitch correct the verse because it's straight rap.
Yeah, I'm so used to that, my checks and balances be a super threat. Only one over my books, there's too many crooks up in my family net. My family net. Only one know the business is the ones that got their business set. Only ones in my business be them haters, know they upset. Lying out of his draw, too much of that alcohol, walk it off. I cannot see in the future, but I pray you don't get knocked off. Why she be wearing them clothes? She got them ugly toes, girl, bye. I'm not looking for woes, I'm looking for paper to fold. Nah. Still be holding it down for some of these clowns I used to mess with. I thought these niggas was friends, but then they turned out to be suspects. Run and go get the money, then run it back. MDE the only one know the business is the ones that got their business set. Only ones in my family net. Only one know the business is the ones that got their business set. Only ones in my business be them haters, know they upset. Lying out of his draw, too much of that alcohol. Out of his draw, too much of that alcohol. Too much of that alcohol, walk it off. I cannot see in the future, but I pray you don't get knocked off. Why she be wearing them clothes? She got them ugly toes, girl, bye. I'm not looking for woes, I'm looking for paper to fold. Nah. Still be holding it down for some of these clowns I used to mess with. I thought these niggas was friends, but then they turned out to be suspects. Run and go get the money, then run it back. MDE the safe home. Disrespect, you gon' get smacked. Being around me, not safe home. No, I'm not up in the streets, cause I know the streets is not the place for me. But I be up in your niece, cause she's so sweet, and that's the place to be. I don't know what you mean when you say we don't need police to me. Gotta protect our elders from this evil that we seem to see. Still in my I cannot see in the future, but I'm pretty sure how it's gonna turn out. These niggas be thinking it's cool, be acting a fool, I'm on that paper route. MPE in the kitchen, wrist twisting, got him showing out. Gotta make better decisions, don't be living like you all out. I've been up in the zone, it really hit home when it's a family member. Jesus sit on the throne, he the one at home, I'm just a visitor. Everything up in my head, it really hit home, cause I be thinking deep. Really ain't had the time to properly thank MDE family. Wishing you all to be safe, cause if you died, then that's a tragedy. You nigga be doing these clothes, I'm trying to get dressed in your attire, see. Put your brain on me, and that's a win, I'm sure we both agree. I've been up in the game since the game was introduced to me. I've been saving my chain since I found out it was up to me. I've been up in my lane once I figured out how to trick the streets. People been on cocaine since cocaine in 1863. Niggas, they know my name, it's Shay Stone when you addressing me. Stone when you addressing me. It's Shay Stone when you addressing me. Still in my lane.
Okay, so as you can see, I went through and did all the timing edits. Now, I didn't go too crazy with the verse because, like I said, there's just a lot of different flows that you don't want to chop and do too much to, or it ends up throwing off the whole flow of how he was rapping. So I really just subtly shifted stuff here and there where I felt it needed to be done. Okay, so I'm going to make those red as well. There is some further editing we're going to do once I start getting the plugins on there to see how it reacts. Certain harsh sibilance and stuff. But we're going to get on to the mixing, or the vocal chain. Okay, I'm going to start with the hook.
Still in my lane, that'll never change, boy. Still in my lane, that'll never change, boy.
Okay, first thing I'm going to do is throw an EQ up.
Still in my lane, that'll never. Still in my lane, that'll never change, boy. Still in my lane, that'll never. Still in my lane, that'll never change, boy. Still in my lane, that'll never change, boy. Still in my lane, that'll never change, boy. Still in my lane, that'll never. Still in my lane, that'll never change, boy.
Okay, I just lightly did some EQ just to make it a little less boxy, just so we're starting off a little better. So I just rolled off like about 80 hertz, anything rumbly. I didn't really hear much rumble down there, but if there is, it's gone. I found like a boxiness around, what was that, 600 hertz? Did a little dip there, like a dB or so. Some harshness around 3.5, which is where a lot of harsh stuff lives. A little cut, just a dB, and then a tiny, tiny little boost at 10K.
Still in my lane, that'll never. Still in my lane, that'll never change, boy.
Yeah, so we tamed it just a little bit. Next, I want to just clamp down on frequencies a little bit more before we get on to compression.
Still in my. Still in my. Still in my lane. Still in my lane. Still in my lane. That'll never change. Still in my lane. Still in my. Still in my lane. That'll never change, boy. Still got. Still in my lane. That'll never change, boy. Still in my lane. Still in my lane. That'll never change, boy. Still got. Still in. Still in my lane. That'll never change, boy. Still in my lane. That'll never change, boy. Still in my lane. That'll never change, boy. Still got the. Still in my lane. That'll never change, boy. Still in my lane. That'll never change, boy. Still in my lane. That'll never change, boy. Still got. Still in my lane. That'll never change, boy. Still got. Still in my lane. That'll never change, boy.
Okay, so we took it a step further with cleaning up the bad frequencies. So I set this around about 200 hertz. So everything in down, I'm compressing everything between 200 hertz and 1100 hertz. Just that, all that mid-range, I'm compressing. The high mids, I'm compressing and then adding some back. And then the super duper highs up here, I'm compressing very lightly and adding a dB or two.
Still in my lane. Still in.
Let's hear without both of these.
Still in my lane. That'll never change, boy. Still in my lane. That'll never change, boy.
Way smoother already, and there's no compression even. So that's what if you follow my content, you will notice that I like to get the vocal very clean and controlled before we even compress. So let's get out a compressor.
Still in my lane. Still in my lane. Still in my lane. Still in my lane. That'll never change, boy. Still in my lane. That'll never change, boy. Still in my lane. Still in my lane. Still in my lane. That'll never change, boy. Still in my lane. That'll never change, boy. Ain't nothing really changed but the change. Shout out, take off. Ain't nothing really changed but the change. Shout out, take off. Ain't nothing really changed but the change. Shout out, take off. Ain't nothing really changed but the change. Shout out, take off. Ain't nothing really changed but the change. Shout out, take off. Ain't nothing really changed but the change. Shout out, take off. Ain't nothing really changed but the change. Shout out, take off.
Okay, I'm just adjusting right now. I'm playing with the release to kind of get the vocal to kind of glue inside of the mix. And then I'm adjusting the attack to where I still want the vocal to be in my face, but I also want it to be pretty controlled too. So that's why I'm playing with it and kind of landed around a pretty fast attack, getting a little bit towards a medium attack. But everything on the 1176 is fast, but even though back here is still a fast attack technically, it sounds better to my ears up here. So, and I was playing with the input to get a good 3 to 5 dB gain reduction and balancing the output as we do that. So this is like a balancing act between these two.
Ain't nothing really changed but the change. Shout out, take. Ain't nothing really changed but the change. Shout out, take off. Ain't nothing really changed but the change. Shout out, take.
Okay, there's some sibilance and stuff we're gonna have to dive into. I'm gonna grab Soothe really quick.
Ain't nothing really changed but the change. Shout out, take off. Ain't nothing really changed but the change. Ain't nothing really changed but the change. Shout out, take off. Ain't nothing really changed but the change. Shout out. Ain't nothing really changed but. Ain't nothing really changed but the change. Shout out, take off. Ain't nothing really changed but the change. Shout out, take off.
So Soothe helps a lot. Sometimes I can use Soothe instead of a de-esser, but in this case probably not because the S's are very, very prominent. So we're going to use both. So let's get on to a de-esser.
Ain't nothing really changed but the change. Ain't nothing really changed but the change. Shout out, take off. Ain't nothing really changed but the change. Shout out, take off. Ain't nothing really changed but the change. Shout out, take off. Ain't nothing really changed but the change. Shout out. Ain't nothing really changed but the change. Shout out. Ain't nothing really changed but. Ain't nothing really changed but the change. Shout out, take off.
Okay, so as you can hear, we're really controlling things right now. But at the same time, as we control things, sometimes we take away from the overall presence. So it's important to take a step back and ask yourself, like, is it a little dull now? So this is usually where I pull out Slate Fresh Air.
Ain't nothing really. Ain't nothing really changed but the change. Shout out, take off. Ain't nothing really changed but the change. Shout out, take off. Ain't nothing really changed but the change. Shout out. Ain't nothing really changed but the change. Ain't nothing really changed but the change. Shout out, take off. Ain't nothing really changed but the change. Shout out, take off.
Okay, so Fresh Air brought a little bit of that sibilance back, a little bit, but it still sounds controlled to my ears. It's not as peaky. The problem with sibilance is having like one S really loud, so we're kind of making all the S's like the same volume, which is good. And you do kind of want to hear the S's and stuff to hear like what words are being said. So So that's fresh air. As you can see, not extreme settings here at all. So now we're going to get on to adding some parallel stuff. I'm going to do waves doubler. And I'm going to do some reverb. We'll start there. Okay. So I normally don't get too picky with doubler settings, so I'm just going to do a Dave Pensato vocal. I like to have the direct out since I'm using it in parallel. Direct in would be more if you're putting it straight on the vocal. So direct out, and then pick an open bus. Okay, I just did it at unity gain, and I'm just going to turn this doubler way down.
Ain't nothing really changed but the change. Ain't nothing really changed but the change. Ain't nothing really changed but the change. Shout out.
Yeah, it doesn't do much, but you just hear like a wetness, or just something is different about it. Something is less bland. So doubler's a very, like, it's kind of like adding spices when you're cooking. Like, it's just, you just need a little bit sometimes to get that desired taste.
Ain't nothing really changed but the change. Shout out, take off. Ain't nothing really changed but the change. Shout out, take off.
Cool. And then okay, I'm going to set the reverb.
Ain't nothing really changed but the ain't nothing really changed but ain't nothing really changed but the change. Ain't nothing really changed but the change. Shout out. Ain't nothing really changed but the change. Shout out, take off. Ain't nothing really changed. Ain't nothing really changed but the change. Shout out, take off. Ain't nothing really changed but the change. Ain't nothing really changed but the change. Shout out, take off. Ain't nothing really changed but the change. Shout out, take off. Ain't nothing really changed but the change. Shout out. Ain't nothing really changed but the change. Shout out, take off. Ain't nothing really changed but the change. Shout out, take off. Ain't nothing really changed but the change. Shout out, take off. Ain't nothing really changed but the change. Shout out, take off.
Okay, as you can hear, it's a nice wetness. I didn't go too crazy with the time on the reverb. Just like a 1.5 seconds. Dialed back the pre-delay a little bit, so the verb is happening a little bit after the vocal. I went to the EQ, and I really filtered off a lot of those low mids so it didn't get muddy, and filtered off a lot of those highs. So it's kind of more of a dark reverb because it's a rap. We don't want the S's and all that stuff to be trailing. It just gets really messy. So that's that. Okay, my next step, I'm going to start applying these settings to the other vocal tracks and hearing how they go in and out. I'm going to match these levels, and then you can hold Option and just drag these plugins over. And then the sends as well for the doubler and reverb. Okay, we're gonna listen how the whole hook sounds, minus the ad-lib. I'm not bringing that in yet.
Got the game, never been a lame boy. Negroes know my name. Been up in the game, boy. Ain't nothing really changed but the change. Shout out, take off. All y'all really do is sit around and talk. No driving you ain't even got a bark. That's why I'm a thoroughbred, been up in my heart. So I can afford a ghost with the push button start. I'm so used to dating my chicks and
Okay, after listening, it's sounding pretty good, but I might dive in to try to find some problems in the low mid still.
Still in my lane, that'll never change. Still in my lane, that'll never change. Still in my lane, that'll never. Still in my lane, that'll never change. Still in my lane, that'll never change. Still in my lane, that'll never change, boy. Still in my lane. Still in my lane, that'll never change, boy. Still in my lane, that'll never change, boy. Still in my lane, that'll never. Still in my lane, that'll never change, boy. Still in my lane, that'll never change, boy. Still in my lane, that'll never change, boy. Still in my lane, that'll never. Still in my lane, that'll never change. Still in my lane, that'll never change, boy. Still got the. Still in my lane, that'll never change, boy. Still in my lane, that'll never change, boy. Still got.
Okay, I found like 3 different spots where I just saw build-up frequencies, so I compressed all 3, got it sounding a little better, and then I applied it to the other ones. Now we're going to listen through.
Still in my lane, that'll never change, boy. Still got the game, never been a lame, boy. Negroes know my name. Been up in the game, boy. Ain't nothing really changed but the change. Shout out, take off. All y'all really do is sit around and talk. No driving you ain't even got a bark. That's why I'm a thoroughbred, been up in my heart. So I can afford a ghost with the push button start. I'm so used to dating my chicks and balances beat a super 3. Only one over my books is.
Okay, good. We're sounding good.
Still in my lane, that'll never. Still in my lane, that'll never change, boy. Still got the game, never been a lame, boy. Negroes know my name. Been up in the game, boy. Ain't nothing really changed but the change. Shout out, take off.
Okay, so all 3 of those tracks are blending nice. Once in a while, I gotta change the level of each one to get them to blend, but it's pretty consistent. Okay, we're gonna go to the ad-lib.
Still in my lane, that'll never. Still in my lane, that'll my lane, that'll never change, boy. Still got the game, never.
Okay, we can start by just dragging the plugins, but then we're gonna alter it. I know off the rip, probably gonna boost a little bit more reverb.
My lane, that'll never change, boy. Still got the game, never been a lame, boy. Negroes know my name. Been up in the game, boy. Ain't nothing really changed but the change. Shout out, take off. All y'all really do is sit around and talk. No driving you ain't even got a bark. That's why I'm a thoroughbred, been up in my heart. So I can afford a ghost with the push button start. I'm so used to my lane, that'll never change, boy. Still got the game, never been a lame, boy. Negroes know my name. Been up in the game, boy. Ain't nothing really changed but the change. Shout out, take off. All y'all really do is sit around and talk. No driving you ain't even got a bark. That's why I'm a thoroughbred, been up in my heart. So I can afford a ghost with the push button start. I'm so used to dating my chicks and my lane. That'll never change, boy. Still got the game, never been a lame, boy. Negroes know my name. Been up in the game, boy.
Okay, yeah, I know it looked like a lot was going on. Basically, filtered it more to make it cut through more. We don't need the lows in it. Boosted some mid-range, cut some more lows down here. Boosted some highs a little bit more. I compressed it a little harder because it's kind of background. I turned the attack up to push it more into the mix. And yeah, and then the more reverb and then leveling it. So that's about it. Okay, we're going to go over to the verse vocals now. Going to drag the plugins from the hook. Match the levels. You can hold Command on a Mac, and it lets you go in increments. Let's hear the verse.
Start, yeah. I'm so used to debt, my checks and balances be bread bit up in my heart. So I can afford a ghost with the push button start. Yeah, I'm so used to debt, my checks and balances be a super threat. All I want over my books is too many crooks up in my family net. All I want know the business is the ones that got their business set. All the ones in my business be them haters, know they upset. Lying out of his draw, too much of that alcohol, walk it off. I cannot see in the future, but I pray you don't get knocked off. Why she be wearing them clothes? She got them ugly toes, girl, bye. I'm not looking for woes, I'm looking for paper to fold. Nah. Still be holding it down for some of these clowns I used to mess with. I thought these niggas was friends, but then they turned out to be suspects. Run and go get the money to run it back. MDE the safe home. Disrespect, you gon' get smacked. Being around me, not safe home. No, I'm not up in the streets, cause I know the streets is not the place for me. But I be up in your knees, cause she's so sweet, and that's the place to be. Sorry. I don't know what you mean when you say we don't need police to me. Gotta protect our elders from this evil that we seem to see. Still in my lane. Bread bit up in my heart. So I can afford a ghost with the push button start. Yeah, I'm so used to debt, my checks and balances be a super threat. All I want over my books is too many crooks up in my family net. All I want know the business is the ones that got their business set. All the ones in my business be them haters, know they upset. Lying out of his draw, too much of that alcohol, walk it off. I cannot see in the future, but I pray you don't get knocked off. Why she be wearing them clothes? She got them ugly toes, girl, bye. I'm not looking for woes, I'm looking for paper to fold. Nah. Still be holding it down for some of these clowns I used to mess with. I thought these niggas was friends, but then they turned out to be suspects. Run and go get the money to run it back. MDE the safe home. Disrespect, you gon' get smacked. Being around me, not safe.
Okay, so what I noticed with the verse is there was a lot more bass in his voice. It was a lot thicker. Even with all the plugins and stuff we did, it was still too much. So I brought out Soothe and placed it around 130, 140 hertz. I went to hard instead of soft to be a little bit more aggressive and cleaned it right up. Okay. Let's get out the reverb. Or not the reverb, the delay. Okay, just gonna get out a delay I like. This comes with the complete Native Instruments bundle. Gonna go to straight, quarter notes, turn the mix all the way up, feedback down a little bit, cut the lows a little bit, cut the highs a little bit. And we'll start with the verses. So we're going to go to that send we did, and then mute it. Turn it up some and mute it. drag that over to the others. And we're going to use automation to unmute it every time we want the vocal to delay. Check it out.
I'm so used to dead, my checks and balances beat on super thread. On super thread. Only one over my books. Only one over my books. There's too many crooks up in my family net. In my family net. Only one knows the business is the ones that got their business set. Only ones in got their business set. Only ones in my business be them haters, know they upset. Lying. Know they upset. Lying out of his draw. Too much of that out of his draw. Too much of that out of his draw. Too much of that alcohol. Walk it off. How can I see alcohol? Walk it off. How can I see in the future? But I pray you don't get knocked off. Why she be wearing them clothes? She got them ugly toes. Girl, bye. I'm not looking for woes. I'm looking for paper to fold. Nah. Still be holding it down for some of these clowns I used to mess with. I thought these niggas was friends, but then they turned out to be suspects. Run and go get the money to run it back. MDE the safe home. Disrespect, you gon' get smacked. Being around me, not safe home. No, I'm not up in the streets, cause I know the streets is not the place for me. But I be up in your niece, cause she's so sweet, and that's the place to be. Sorry. I don't know what you mean when you say we don't need police to me. Gotta protect our elders from this evil place to be. Sorry. I don't know what you mean when you say we don't need police to me. Gotta protect our elders from this evil that we seem to see. Still in my lane, that'll never change, boy. Start, yeah. How can I see in the future, but I'm pretty sure how it's gon' turn out. These niggas be it's gon' turn out. These niggas be thinking it's cool, be acting a fool. I'm on that paper route. MPE in the kitchen, wrist twisting, got him showing out. Gotta make better decisions, don't be living like you all out. I've been up in the zone, it really hit home when it's a family member. Jesus sit on the throne, he the one at home, I'm just a visitor. Everything up in my head, it really hit home, cause I be thinking deep. Really ain't had the time to properly thank MDE family. Wishing you all to be safe, cause if you died, then that's a tragedy. You nigga be doing these clothes, I'm trying to get dressed in your attire, see. Put your brain on me, and that's a win, I'm sure we both agree. I've been up in the game since the game was introduced to me. I've been saving my chain since I found out it was up to me. I've been up in my lane once I figured out how to trick the streets. People been on cocaine since cocaine in 1863. Niggas, they know my name, it's Shay Stone when you addressing me. Still in my lane, that'll never change, boy, still got the...
Okay, so I just went to all the ends. Wherever it sounded dry or just kind of bland in between lines, we want to fill that out. You know, some stuff, some songs will call for more of this stuff. Like this is quite a lot of delay. And then other songs will have less. For this particular artist, delay sounds really good to glue his lines together. So let's take a listen.
I'm so used to dead, my checks and balances beat on super thread. Only one over my books, there's too many crooks up in my family net. Only one knows the business is the ones that got their business set. Only ones in my business be them haters, know they upset. Lying out of his draw, too much of that alcohol, walk it off. How can I see in the future, but I pray you don't get knocked off. Why she be wearing them clothes? She got them ugly toes, girl, bye. I'm not looking for woes, I'm looking for paper to fold. Nah. Still be holding it down for some of these clowns I used to mess with. I thought these niggas was friends, but then they turned out to be suspects. Run and go get the money to run it back. MDE the safe home. Disrespect, you gon' get smacked. Being around me, not safe home. No, I'm not up in the streets, cause I know the streets is not the place for me. But I be up in your niece, cause she's so sweet, and that's the place to be. Sorry. I don't know what you mean when you say we don't need police to me. Gotta protect our elders from this evil that we seem to see. Still in my lane, that'll never change, boy. Still got the game. Never been a lame, boy. The Negroes know my name. Been up in the game, boy. Ain't nothing really changed, but the change. Shout out, take off. All y'all really do is sit around and talk. You know driving, you ain't even got a bark. That's why I'm a thoroughbred, been up in my heart. So I can afford a ghost with the push button start. I cannot see in the future, but I'm pretty sure how it's gon' turn out. These niggas be thinking it's cool, be acting a fool. I'm on that paper route. MDE in the kitchen, wrist twisting, got him showing out. Gotta make better decisions, don't be living like you.
Okay, cool. And after listening to it loud on the speakers, I wanted to control the mud a little bit more in the vocals. You know, low mids in the vocals can be an ongoing battle all the way through the mix. So I heard just some extra low mids that I didn't like. So I ended up using Soothe a little more, a little bit higher in the low mids, and then I even dropped that Soothe on the chorus as well, but I turned the mix down to 35% because the chorus didn't need it nearly as much. So it's a nice balance between the verse and the chorus. Okay, so as far as the chorus, I would do that same thing. I'll go through and do the delays just like I did in the verses. So yeah, guys, mixing a song from scratch, obviously I would, do a lot more, and this is just the gist of it. I do things like stutters and beat dropouts and, certain delays, effects, automated reverbs, stuff like that. And sometimes it takes longer too because there's more singing and more tuning and editing to do than this. This is a little simpler because it's a rap. If you really want to dive in more and maybe you don't understand all the things I'm doing, or don't understand automation, or don't understand Melodyne editing, any of these things that I'm doing, I would highly suggest you take the Vocal Mixing Masterclass. The link is going to be in the description. There's like 9 or 10 hours of tutorials that break down exactly what I'm doing. And cool thing is once you get the masterclass, you always have it. You can log in, you can watch it over and over and over until you really feel like a pro at this stuff. So make sure you hit the subscribe button, and share this video with your friends. I think a lot of people could benefit from watching a mixing from scratch type video like this. And I'll see you guys next time.